And I wanted to be clear. I am not an activist trying to make major changes. My only my focus is to just be clear about what it is and say what it is. Because if someone understands, you're not behind the bar because you're stupid. You are behind the bar by design. It has nothing to do with how brilliant you are. None of that. The person will feel good about who they are. Like I feel extremely good about who I am and my capabilities because I know that. But many, many people don't know that. The brainwashing has worked. So it's just like, let's put it on the table and let's just be honest about it. This is what it is. And you intend to continue to have it that way. I guess the thing that bothers me is that the lie is a lie, but you want to keep it in the closet because you don't want to face it. That's the part that's the role I am. Just put it on the table. It is what it is. And we go from there. I mean, to personalize it, in my situation with company BP, I'll just say it because it doesn't matter. They're truly the Goliath that I could not beat, did not beat, etc. And they would do things to hamper my progress. And it would be so obvious that that's what they were doing. And I would simply say to them, as long as you know that I know this is what you're doing, we can do business as usual. I'll continue smiling at you. It will just be la da 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 da. But I want you to know that I know that I got it. Now, it was okay because it was designed for me to know. But what was not supposed to be part of the design, somehow I was supposed to pretend that I didn't know. Well, if it embarrasses you to do it, why do it? If you don't want to, if you don't want to suppress, you don't want to make it known that you are trying to enhance my downfall and failure, why do you do it? That's the hard part. It's like, as long as you know that I know this is what you're doing, we can keep smiling. We can keep going along with business as usual. But that's the problem. And the problem with many people having been brainwashed into the reason they have not succeeded in many ways is because they were lesser of a person, or they're stupid, or they're this, or they're that. That is not true. What it says is, if someone has to put their foot on your head to keep you from thriving, then it means that you are superior, or they fear that you are superior. And they fear that if you succeed, it will make them less superior. And that's wrong. That's evil. And that is what I'm saying I thank the Trump administration for doing, because he brought it out and he put it on the table, basically. So many people felt like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to be racist. It's okay to hate. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So now that it's out on the table, we need to address it and take it to the next level. So it is obvious. It's so big. And so I repeat, I'm not trying to be an activist, because all of those that were for the majority people, they're either dead or they were definitely stopped. Because even Operation Wall Street, what happened to that organization? We haven't heard anything from them. They just disappeared. And we know all of the people that are dead. So I have no intentions of trying to stop any of this. And it very likely will prove out to be that, sure, America is a lie. Sure, we've done this. And we're going to keep on doing it. And ain't nobody going to do anything about it. You know what? That's okay. But as long as people know where they are and where they stand, then they can still try and do their best. But when it doesn't result in the way that it should result based upon what they have put into it, then they need to know it was not because they didn't try hard. It was not because they were stupid or they were dumb. It was by design. And the powers that be are so large, there's no way you can win. In my case, and I feel very confident saying this because I was in the game and I did it, and there was no way I could win. I was not even supposed to get to the level that I got to, because there's some simple facts in that. It's like the money, follow the money. Who can give the money? I could not pay any. I didn't. I was going backwards, so I had no money. I could only contribute or could not contribute to certain campaign funds. That's a fact. I was not able to pay for advertising. That's a fact. BP was able to pay for advertising. So any advertising industry that I go to, trying to get some little whip with my problem, next thing I know, I will name one, Fox. I would see maybe this was a coincidence, and I will say maybe this was a coincidence, but I doubt it seriously. The reporter, who was very naive, and he'd interviewed me, and he thought it could get it aired, and every time he would think he could get it aired, of course, it was not. And what I speculate happens is that someone at Fox would call someone in advertising at BP, and they would say, yeah, we're going to run the story, da, 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 da. And then, of course, within the couple of days, I would see 2 to 3 times the number of commercials about BP on Fox. So what it looked like to me was, it says, okay, yeah, we got this story here. If you can, they don't, maybe they didn't even have to outright say it. It was just understood and advertising. And that was across the board. There was one representative. His church was in foreclosure. So I'd gone to him and asked for some help, blah, 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 political. And I never heard from him. But very shortly thereafter, his church was no longer in foreclosure. So that's what I mean. It's so large. When you get into that room, you cannot win. If the powers that be wants to cheat, don't want you to win, you cannot win. And that's it. So all I am saying is that's the truth of it. So let's not pretend all of these things about, being created equal and people didn't felt like, what's his name? I can't pronounce his name right now. Was not supposed to do a knee. That was not about us. That was not about us. He was right, because that does not apply to us. We were not free. We were not, even during that time, we were not treated equal. So why would we stand up for that at the time that was written? And we're still not. And it's not just Black people. It is also, I would say, I'm going to just say whites. It's that percentage. It's not even about race. It is about class. And you are put into a particular class. And that class is, it was somewhat designed, and it's really more of a money thing, even though then it is an education thing, because with Blacks, and we were taught, we want to get an education, then you get an education, and you have more Black folks than ever with alphabets behind their names. Now, how many millions and multi-millions are behind their name is another story, but it's a huge percentage with alphabets behind their names. Alphabets do not equate dollars. Class, I don't know. I'm not quite clear how to wrap my fingers around alphabets behind the name in class. I don't know about that one. There's a question mark with that right now. But that's what I'm saying. And that is my purpose. It is not to stop you, because no one has stopped you yet, ever. No one has stopped you. The Native Americans didn't, the African Americans didn't, Africa did not. You move and you take and you control and you suppress and you go on. Now, there's another whole part of that, how, we're going to contrast a lot of this stuff back to the Bible, good and evil. And I don't know. It's just that it's just time to stop trying to hide behind something that's not true, because the intent of that is evil, and that is to make someone feel inferior when you're only superior in many cases because you've cheated and you use the Bible and the gun. And because it's been that way for so long, is so large, there is no stopping it. My only quest is that I think it should be known. I think not just Black history, but all history should be taught in the public schools in America. Since America is a melting pot, there should be Chinese, there should be Asian, African American, Native American. All of that has gone into the building of America. So it should be taught in the schools. The Chinese were treated very badly in those early days, runoff, and they were treated badly. So were the Native Americans. So that all should be taught. That history should be taught, because all of nationalities make up America. And the British, the superior ones at the top, the ones that were not superior, the lower class, for example, were shipped off to work in prisons, to clean the land, to do da-da-da-da-da-da, and, before the slaves were. So all of that needs to be taught. It needs to be taught in the schools. It just needs to be taught. And that's what I am pushing for. Let everyone know the history and decide for themselves. Think about it. That's what I'm going for. Not to say stop it, not to try to create a movement right now to stop it. I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's possible. I think with generations, it will kind of fade and things could possibly become more balanced. There's always going to be good and evil, but I don't think we will be heading deeper down the rabbit hole as I see America heading right now with this theory, because times are different now. There's technology, but times are different. There's the bullying in the school. There's all these mass shootings. There's a lot of this kinds of stuff. There's a lot of anger. So that needs to stop. That needs to stop. This talk show is not about making people angry. It's simply saying, this is history. This is what it was. Let's take a second look here. Let's see. Because people, when they're suppressed and they're abused, they take it out in some weird ways. They say, there's a saying that everyone is hurt. There's always hurt first and anger next. So this is where I am coming from. The school shootings are increasing. The mass shootings are increasing. That's not good. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So to me, that is part of the problem with the suppressing of people and with the idea of creating this superior, inferior atmosphere. Because there's an old quote that says, be careful how far you push a fallen man, because he ain't got nowhere to go. He ain't got nothing to lose. So this is the perspective that I'm coming from. And let it be known, that is my goal. My goal is that history is taught. The entire public education system is changed. The textbooks, they don't use textbooks anymore, but the text that is taught in the schools has changed. It is all rewritten because it needs to be rewritten to reflect something in addition to just learning the technology and all the things that are taught in school, but something that also instills a moral compass. There's so much of America now that is operating without a moral compass. That means we took prayer out of the school. Well, that helped, that, like I said, the religious thing. That's another whole thing that we will talk about. But I just had to get all this out because this is what this is all about. And then how we go through each one of these recordings that I've done and put them into segments so that it evolves into the purpose that I am hoping it will ultimately result in, which is rewriting all of the texts for education. And that can be done. We've got writers. We can take a writer and say from K through college, we want examples that are teaching, but teach compassion, that teach patience, that teach love, that teach fairness, that teach the benefits of fairness and truth and not lying and not cheating. There are writers that can do that. I'm not one of them, but they're out there and they need the work, and it could be done. And it can be done in a relatively short period of time if we put our minds to it and just stop BSing on everything and wasting so much valuable time. I mean, I got this picture here of Dubai. 1990, a desert. Look at Dubai now. Look at Dubai now. And actually 2006, it wasn't even 20 years. Look what Dubai, look at that. We can do things here in America, but we just BS, and we're so concerned about, well, if so-and-so and so has an idea, and if they want to do this, and if we make that happen, then they might become wealthy, and then they can buy their own politicians, and blah, 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 and, take some of the power away from us. It's time for that to stop. Just get out of the way and let the chips fall where they may. Even with your out of the way, some things and people are going to succeed, some are going to fail. That's natural. It's just natural. So you don't have to create obstacles to purposely try to make someone fail. It's just going to happen because it's just the way it is. But at least that's fair. That's not cheating, So anyway, next topic.